Hello, everyone. Well, first of all, thank you for your patience. We have endured quite a hectic week here. Bruce and I wanted to finish our own internal review and CMLB's review of the situation to make sure we have as much information as possible before we sit here and discussing it with you. I think one of the first and most important things that we all can do is to have a little empathy for our players. You know, they've been stricken with a virus that has no cure other than to run its course. Our players and coaches went into this knowing that their health was on the line. And unfortunately, they've had to endure quite a trying time over the last week plus. And we have seen firsthand just how contagious this virus is. After we left spring training and numerous discussions, some of our traveling party had a false sense of security and comfort and how they handle themselves when we left Miami. I'm hoping that the first question today is about the health of our players who've tested positive, because it really has been disheartening to not read anything about that or see many signs of empathy for what they're going through. Instead, we continue to hear and read about rumors about our players' actions in Atlanta, and we need to stop that. Right? Our team and our players deserve better than that. As I mentioned, these guys are sick. Our guys were not running all around town after our game in Atlanta. So I need to ask that stop. They don't deserve that. We did have a couple individuals leave the hotel. In our review, it was determined we had guys leave to get coffee, to get clothes. The guy left to have dinner at a teammate's house. There were no other guests on site. There was no salacious activity. There's no hanging out at bars, no clubs, no running around Atlanta, no running around the town. What it boiled down to on this particular trip was guys were around each other, they got relaxed, and they let their guard down. They were getting together in groups. They weren't wearing masks as much as they should have. They weren't social distancing. Everyone was getting tested. We went the whole spring training 2.0 without a positive. And the entire traveling party got a little too comfortable. Should they have been doing that? No. And that's been addressed. But there is no way to identify how this got into our clubhouse. But any activities on Tuesday night were not it. The entire traveling party is responsible for not following the protocols as is instructed. That includes coaches, staffs, and players. Everyone has seen the impact. They've seen their teammates get sick, and I know they all have a new level of appreciation. Hopefully, this has been a wake-up call for everyone, not only on our team, but in the rest of baseball and sports in general. So having said that, we'll open it up, Jason, to any questions.
Yeah, thank you. So if everybody can please use the function within Zoom, that will help. And we'll go ahead and start it off with Jess Blaylock.
Derek, first off, thank you for taking the time to do this. You mentioned the players' health. What kind of update can you give us about the players who have tested positive and how they are doing at this point?
Yeah, well, thanks for asking it. You didn't have much of a choice after I said that, but thanks for asking. The players are doing okay. We have a lot of players who are asymptomatic. We have players that's showing mild symptoms. Our players now are quarantined down here in Miami so they can have the care of our medical staff. But they're doing well. It's been a rough, little more than a week now. And it's also been rough on the guys who haven't tested positive because look, we've all been up till 2, 3 o'clock in the morning waiting on test results and hopeful that no one else will test positive. So all things considered, I've checked in with our guys and all things considered, they're in good spirits, but we hope they get healthy and safe sooner rather than later.
Jordan McPherson from the Herald.
Yeah, hey Derek, again, like Jess said, thanks for doing this. Can you walk us through Saturday the 26th, the morning of the third game against Philly? From when you guys found out about any sort of positive test to what MLB protocol was?
Yeah, Jordan, you broke up a little bit there, buddy.
Yeah, we're gonna have to come
Okay, yeah, sorry. Yeah, we've had this issue before as well. Sunday the 26th. Can you just walk us through from when you guys found out about positive tests to what MLB sort of did, what MLB looked into pregame with contact tracing and whatever, and ultimately what cleared you guys to play? And now looking back, hindsight's obviously 2020. Just your thoughts about how Sunday overall unfolded.
I think you started with Saturday, and then it turned into Sunday. I think you're asking about Sunday's game in Philadelphia.
Yes.
How things transpired.
Correct.
You know, like once again, we were notified. I believe, don't correct me on the exact time, but it's early in the morning, Sunday morning, of the other guys that had tested positive. So those guys never went to the ballpark in Philadelphia. I think there has been some reports or stories or things, people thinking that our players decided on their own to go out there and play on Sunday. That is not the case. There is not a particular organization or group of players that are allowed to make the decision to go out on the field and play. That was not the case. So, the league has the results. Our player organization was aware. The Phillies organization was aware. The joint committee was aware, and they decided to go out and play the game.
Joe Fasaro.
Hey, Derek. Yeah, I know before the team left, you had really, on the first Zoom call you did with us, you noted the importance of everyone doing their part and being accountable. And obviously there were missteps. What's the message now, and what kind of protocols are they obviously I'd imagine even tighter, because certainly that can't happen again. What's kind of the message moving forward? And obviously it didn't go the way you guys anticipated.
Yeah, well, I think first things first is what probably happened is there's a false sense of security, right? I mean, guys have been going through 3 weeks of spring training, maybe 4 weeks, and everyone had tested negative. They're all together, and they had a false sense of security. So they let their guard down. And look, as an organization, we had to pay the price, bottom line. And, moving forward, obviously MLB has upped the protocols, and they made some changes to the protocols, and we have as well. And we just can't make any mistakes. And it's, that's the bottom line. We've been given an opportunity to hit the reset button. And, moving forward, we just cannot make any mistakes here.
Let's go to Steve Wine from the AP.
Derek, given what you've been through here, how optimistic are you that Major League Baseball is going to be able to get through this and play a complete season?
Yeah, that's the goal, Steve. I mean, it's like I said, I hope people look at what happened to us and they use that as a warning, and just see how quickly this is able to spread between a particular group if you're not following the protocols 100%. I mean, you can't let your guard down whatsoever. That's the bottom line. I mean, we're battling something that's invisible here. You can't see it. You don't know where it starts. You don't know how it gets there. But once it gets there, it has an opportunity to spread quickly. And we've seen that.
The commissioner said after your outbreak that he would consider shutting down a team if it got to the point where it could not field a competitive ball club. We don't know the state of your roster at this point, but I'm just wondering, are you anywhere close to that point, do you think?
No, we're not. We obviously feel that we're competitive. And then I think Mike is going to join right after this to talk about the team and the guys that we're bringing up. But no, we expect to be competitive when we take the field. And yeah, we've been hit hard, but I think I said this before, spring training even started. It's going to be a test on the depth of everyone's organization, because no different when guys get hurt during the course of the season, you're going to have others step in. But to have 18 players taken out at once is it's a challenge for us. But our guys are looking forward to the challenge, and they're ready to get back on the field. They had a workout yesterday, worked out today in Baltimore, and weather permitting, they'll be back on the field tomorrow.
Next, we'll go to Craig Mish.
Hey, Derek, thank you. Derek, do you feel after the conversations that were had before the season about being careful, and you mentioned all the negative tests prior to going on the road, do you feel like the players themselves let you down in any way? And do you feel like they let Major League Baseball down in what they did in any way? Thank you.
I think it's more of they probably let themselves down, right? I mean, we have some guys who are sick. You know, you're seeing how quickly this is spreading, not just in our clubhouse, spreading across the country, across the world. And you know, this is not limited to a Miami Marlins situation. So I think, you know, obviously looking back, guys probably would have done a little bit better, right? They would have kept their masks on, they would have social distanced, but you know, like I said, we get a chance to reset and start all over again. And we're fortunate to be able to have that opportunity. But moving forward, I think, like I said, guys see how serious it is. They see how, you know, their teammates are sick. They see that their teammates aren't there. They see how awkward it is. And, you know, it's up to them that, you know, they have to take responsibility and they have to hold each other accountable. And it's not just the players. Like I said, it's our entire traveling party.
Special guest from the other side of the country, Bill Shaken. Welcome. Bill, go ahead. Be sure to unmute yourself.
Sorry, is this better? Hello?
There you go.
Yeah, just wanted to ask if there's any apprehension, Derek, on your part, on your players' part, on any of the families of the players' part about resuming the schedule?
I'm sure there is, right? I'm sure there is. You know, but our guys, you know, like I said, we've been in contact with our guys. I've been in contact with our guys, and they're looking forward to getting back out and playing. I mean, look, baseball players, this is what they do for their career. This is what they've always done. And this is the new norm for however long it lasts. And it is awkward because it's you know, you look at a situation where guys are used to celebrating. They're used to shaking hands. They're used to giving high fives. You can't do that anymore. And you have to actually think about not doing that. So it takes a lot of discipline. And, you know, yes, it gets a little bit more difficult when you're on the road because you're no longer in the confines of your home ballpark and you're not staying at home. So it gets difficult, but, you know, we have to be better.
Let's go to Jose Rodriguez.
Thank you. Derek, I wanted to ask you a little bit about your conversations with the players. What were their first thoughts? How preoccupied were they? Sorry about that. Whatever you can share from your communication with the players and the message that they said to you. Thank you.
This is, communication since over the last week, prior to?
Yeah, just throughout the whole process, how things have changed for them, how, you know, they have a little bit lived through this.
Yeah, I mean, we've had multiple conversations, and you know, we talked about some of the things, accountability, and we talked about how there shouldn't be any finger pointing because we've made mistakes. We haven't been perfect, right? We have to be perfect moving forward. So we can't put blame on anyone. We just have to look in the mirror and see how we can be better. And, you know, this is something that, you know, is an issue that's top of mind for not just our organization, but every organization out there. You know, everyone has to be better. So our conversations have been open. They've been honest. We've had multiple conversations. We'll continue to have conversations.
Next, we'll go to Brad Davis. Bradford. Remember to unmute yourself.
Sorry about that.
There we go.
Hey, thank you guys. Thank you, Derek. I guess my question is, you know, do you believe that the protocols introduced, you know, for the season as written were sufficient in and of themselves for keeping players safe, assuming everyone followed?
Well, I mean, first, in our particular situation, we made mistakes, right? So it'd be kind of hard for me to sit here and say that the protocols weren't good, because, you know, we made our own fair share of mistakes. I think that we are making adjustments as a league, making adjustments to the protocols as we are. So it would be unfair for me to say whether or not protocols are adequate, because, you know, I think if you follow the protocols, then you wouldn't have issues. And it's evident that we didn't follow all of them.
Right, but we do know of of people who did follow the protocols, to our knowledge anyway. That have still contracted coronavirus, and we know how fast, of course, the virus spreads. I was curious if you even still have an opinion or perspective as someone, of course, very invested in this. If the protocols are sufficient, or if anything needed to be tightened or changed specifically to help avoid or clarify, I guess. Areas where lapses could happen?
It's a tough question. I think I can't speak on anyone else's situations. I can only talk about our particular situation. And I know, looking at our situation, we did make mistakes. And if we didn't abide by all the protocols and we were perfect, then I could answer that question. But we weren't. And that's the only thing that I can really comment on.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Next, we'll go to Andy Slater.
Hey, Derek. I know you keep saying that your team made mistakes with some of the protocols, but you guys got into Atlanta on Tuesday, and the first positive case came from a test taken on Wednesday. So are you confident that this didn't really start in South Florida, that somebody was able to test positive so quickly, and that even the protocols made a difference?
Yeah, I mean, look, it's you can sit here and try to see where it started from. I mean, it's impossible to say where the first player got infected. We know the first player that tested positive. We don't know who the first player was. I mean, so it's impossible to tell whether it started in Miami or it started in Atlanta. It's really impossible to tell.
Okay, next we'll go to Dave Hyde.
Yeah, Derek, of the 18 players, assuming it sounds like they have various degrees of health issues, do you expect them to come back to the season, or are they, because of the length of the season, going to sit it out at this point?
From the players that tested positive, I expect them to come back. They expect to come back from my conversations with them. Who knows what that time frame is? Dave, I'm not sure if it's a week from now, 2 weeks from now, 3 weeks from now. I really don't tell. I think, I can't tell. But our players are looking forward to getting back on the field.
Okay, let's head to Jason Stark, The Athletic.
Hey, Derek. Some Phillies players say that they're upset with your team for not following the protocols, which forced them to miss a week, even though they did nothing wrong and nobody tested positive. So did they have reason to be upset? And what would you say to those players in the Phillies?
Jason, I'm sorry. Could you start over there? I missed the beginning. Sorry.
Sure. I said some Phillies players say that they're upset with your team for not following the protocols. And that's what forced them to miss a week, even though they did nothing wrong and nobody tested positive. So do they have reason to be upset? And what would you say to their players?
Well, I think it goes back to, when we played Philly, we followed, in terms of when guys were testing positive, those guys did not go to the ballpark. Those guys stayed back at the hotel. And it's not just our decision to go out there and play a game. I mean, everyone is notified, right? It's Major League Baseball's notified, the Phillies are notified, the Marlins are notified, and we went out and we played the game. I mean, we follow what the rules and regulations that are in place. It's not like any organization independently decided to go out and play.
Well, just to follow up, I mean, right after that series, the next day, obviously the positive cases increased. So you had an outbreak on your team that was due to, as you've said many times during this session, them not following the protocols. So again, what would you say to the Phillies just about that aspect and what's resulted with their team as a direct result of that?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of teams that are affected, right? And it's not just the Phillies. There's a lot of teams that are affected. You're seeing other teams being affected now, right? So it's something that you feel bad. I mean, the good thing you feel good about is no Phillies players have tested positive, so that makes us feel good. But in terms of how things have shaken out since then, look, I understand guys are probably upset because they've had to sit out as well. But this is something. It's an issue that, like I said, we're not the only team that is dealing with this. These are a lot of teams that are dealing with this. A lot of teams have players that have tested positive. You feel horrible. I feel horrible for our guys. I feel like I said, I'm happy that no players from Philly have tested positive. I think that's a good thing. But ultimately, whether or not we play and what games are played and canceled are not up to us.
Okay, let's head back to Steve Wine.
There we go. Derek, Donnie was saying before the outbreak began that he feels a lot safer at home. That going on the road with all the wild cards involved is more difficult. Given that, how do you feel about this schedule that you have here for the next 10 days? Are you
Yeah.
discomfort with that? Any objection to it? That's what you've been given?
No, I mean, we're in no position to make any objections, right? Look, it's just, we look at it as this is another challenge for us. We're going to be on the road for the next 3 series. So it's another challenge that we have to overcome. So we're in no position we understand it's a 60-game season. We've missed games. We have to make them up. And we're happy that now we're getting the opportunity to go back on the field and play. But we just look at it as being another challenge for us.
Okay, we'll go back to the Athletic and Mark Carrig.
Hi, Derek. You guys are going to be on the road, like you just said. I'm wondering, have you guys reassessed the methods in which you're hoping to encourage players to stay in the hotel? And are those types of things, do you talk to other clubs about best practices as far as just trying to get guys to follow and conform a little bit better moving forward?
I think, Mark, if there's any group that understands the seriousness that we're dealing with, it's our group, because we've seen how it's gone through our clubhouse. So we've talked to our guys once again about the importance of being disciplined on the road. We've talked to them over and over again. So in terms of giving them warnings, they've seen it. In terms of talking to other teams, practices, it comes down to discipline. We need to be disciplined. I don't think there's any secret formula for a team to be successful through this. It's just you have to be extremely disciplined.
Okay, we'll go back to Joe Frisaro.
Derek, obviously you missed a week of games. Some teams have already played 10 games. You guys have played 3. How is the schedule moving forward to make up those games? Is it going to be possible for you guys to make up all the games that you've missed?
Yeah, I'm not sure on that one. You'd have to ask MLB. I know as of now we're planning on playing 1 tomorrow, 2 on Wednesday, 1 on Thursday, and then continuing our road trip. I haven't gotten any information on the schedule moving forward in terms of makeup games.
Okay. Brendan Tobin, go ahead.
Yeah, there are a couple questions. One was your reaction to Isan Diaz deciding to opt out. What was that, process like back and forth between him? And also, you seemed to, bothered by some of the rumors that you were reading with everything. Were you bothered just because a lot of it was untrue, or did you feel like your franchise was getting picked on a little bit?
One first on Isan, and every player has the right to opt out, and we support and we respect him for making that decision. Right? I mean, guys have different issues and different reasons for opting out, and they have every right to do that. So Isan has our support. We look forward to him, coming back in next season. In terms of the rumors that were out there, I think our players are annoyed by the rumors. I think they're the ones that they've had multiple conversations, and they let me know early on in this whole process that they weren't true. So we waited for our review. We waited for MLB's review. And I think it just seems like that's the narrative out there, is that our guys were reckless in Atlanta and out and about and on the town. And it just wasn't the case. So, I wanted to clarify that.
Okay, we got time for a few more. Barry Bloom.
Hey, Derek. You
you opened this saying that, your group of players are sick. What's the depth of the sickness? Do you have guys who are acutely sick? Do you have guys who are asymptomatic? What's the range of it all? I'm sure there must be a range with that many people having tested positive.
Yeah, good question. We have a lot of guys who are asymptomatic. We've had guys that have had mild symptoms for a day or two, and they're starting to feel a lot better. So I think it goes from mild symptoms to asymptomatic at this point, and we hope that continues. But they're here, they're on the under the watchful eye of our medical team, and we hope to not have too many issues moving forward.
So do they have to quarantine under
Yes.
under Florida laws? So 14 days?
They are quarantined, yes.
Do they have to do an additional 14 or to what you already did in Philly, or is that counted?
Well, I mean, first they have to show no symptoms, and they have to pass multiple tests.
Okay, let's just do a couple more here so we can get Mike Hill. Go ahead, Alfred.
Hey, yes, Derek. In addition to the existing MLB protocols and the Florida health protocols, will there be any other step internal that you guys will take as a team to try to avoid another situation like this?
Yeah, we have, obviously the MLB has adjusted their health and safety protocols, and we have as well. I mean, there's going to be a compliance officer that we had scheduled to travel with us. MLB now implemented that throughout the entire league. I mean, there's numerous other rules that MLB is putting in place, whether it's necessary masks on flights, on buses, in the clubhouse. These are all things that we had talked about, and MLB has implemented them as well.
Is there going to be any additional by like only specific you guys are creating this for the players, like only the Marlins would do this?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure how far other teams are taking it. So I couldn't sit here and say we're doing this and 29 other teams aren't.
Okay, Kelly Sacco, and then we'll go to Bradford again.
Hey, Derek, I know this is completely unprecedented, and I'm not sure if you ever went through anything like this as your time as a player, but how do you welcome over a dozen new teammates and form that bond and play together as a team?
Yeah, that's a really good question, because not only do you welcome new teammates and try to develop a bond, you have to do it socially distanced. You have to do it where you can't really hang out and get to know guys as you normally would. So, that is a good question. It is difficult. You spend a lot of time together, but now you're spending a lot of time together and circumstances have completely changed. So you take that into consideration. Look, I mean, we are the first team that has to deal with this. So it's probably a better question to ask a couple of weeks from now.
Okay, Bradford. Got to hit that unmute, Bradford.
Sorry again. Did the Marlins decide on an infection control prevention coordinator?
I'm sorry, can you say that again?
Did the Marlins decide on an infection control prevention coordinator, ICPC? As it's, I think it's page 95 at least of the protocols that I have.
I'm sorry, I didn't even catch the last part of that.
Sorry. Did the Marlins decide on an infection control prevention coordinator, aka ICPC, for your team to help, I guess, comply with, mandated health and safety protocols? That was page 95 of the, at least of the protocols that were released before the season started.
Yes, we have.
Yeah. And how'd you go about determining that within the team?
Well, I mean, we touch bases with, our team doctor. We speak to the league about it as well. These are all protocols that we all have to follow. So yes, we have. And
I guess, my understanding is that it was that the person that would be this ICPC was, well-trained in public health practice and in proper hygiene. did you have someone, on staff already who had, that sort of background, or did you have to source it out elsewhere?
Did we have someone on our staff prior to? No, we did not have someone on our staff.
No. Okay. Well, thank you.
Yep.
Okay, let's go to Andy and then we'll wrap up with Daniel.
Hey, Derek, it's unfortunate you have 18 players on your team with the virus now and also reportedly some coaches. But are you mad at Major League Baseball for saying it was okay for you guys to go out there and play on Sunday, and not only Sunday, but also on Friday, the first game against Philadelphia, after your team had been exposed to somebody who you found out was positive Friday morning?
Am I mad? No, I'm not mad. I'm not a medical expert either. The league has their medical experts and they have the protocols in place. And, after doing the contact tracing that they do, it was decided upon that we were okay to go out there and play. Obviously, you see that there was, that this spread pretty quickly within our organization or within our team. That's unfortunate, but you have the protocols in place, and so I'm not mad at that. I'm disappointed at the fact of how quickly it spread throughout our team, but these are the protocols that are in place.
You don't think Major League Baseball made a mistake by letting you guys go out there even on Friday, because the Cardinals had one player test positive, and right after that they didn't let them go play at all?
Yeah, well, I think everyone's learning a little bit as we move along here. So I think, hindsight's 2020. You look back and say, oh, well, we shouldn't have played, but it's important to point out the fact that, you don't know where it came from. You don't know how quickly it spread. I mean, that's the reason why we were quarantined in the hotel for a week. We had to make sure that the guys moving forward were going to be negative. So no, am I mad at the league for us playing? I'm not mad at the league for us playing. I just wish we would have different results.
Okay, Daniel, close us out.
Thank you, Jason. Hi, Derek. Just as a follow-up to Andy's question, many people pointed out to Donnie and also Miguel Rojas after what they said on Sunday, and many people were questioning their leadership. So what can you say about the support that you gave to those two guys in particular, and talk about their roles in the team and leadership, knowing that maybe it wasn't their fault?
Well, I think one is no one's. I think everyone is trying to look for someone or something to blame, and there isn't one person or one thing to blame. I mean, this is a health crisis that we're all dealing with. It's a health crisis that not only our country is dealing with, but our world is dealing with. When you talk about Donnie and Miggy, Donnie's the manager of our team. Miggy is the leader of our team, and we have a job to do. Everyone has a job to do. That job is to go out there and to play baseball, and that's what these guys know, and that's what they went out there and they did. And it's been extremely disappointing, and it's been unfortunate that we've had so many people that have been infected with this virus. And you wouldn't wish that on anyone. You don't wish that on any other team. You don't wish that on any other person. But it's been unfortunate. And look, like I said before, our group, we have made mistakes. We weren't perfect. But I think there's been times when people have pointed the finger, and we just wanted to be very clear. And our players wanted to be very clear. This was, although there were times that we made mistakes, it wasn't that we were out and about and we were partying and being reckless. There are things that we have to do better, and I said that from the outset, and we will be better. But those two guys that you mentioned, they're leaders of our team, they're leaders of our organization, and our job is to go out there and play baseball. That's what these guys know.